So today just was an introduction class and answer writing. I gave you some tips. So probably from tomorrow we will take up questions and we will start practicing those questions. So this is the subject. Which subject are we talking about right now? GS. ಯಾವ್ದು ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು GS 3 ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ section 2. What does section 2 deal with? Agriculture, animal husbandry, natural sciences, life sciences, yado organizations, yado health and hygiene. That is the last portion of this topic, idu section alwa. You are aware of, you have the syllabus copy with you? Okay, so I'm not going to discuss again the syllabus. So shall we start today's class? First topic in your syllabus, section 2 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ? Can you read that? Natural science, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ plants, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ crop plants. What is a crop? ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ stop. Simply speaking, a crop is a community of plants. Community of plants grown for economical use. That is a crop. Now, what is a community? Environment ecology classes ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? Not yet. Okay. Community ಅಂದ್ರೆ different levels of organization ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನಾನೇ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಹೇಳಿ. ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? That's correct. Group of population. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು group of population ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ? If see same species idre, like if it is only one, then we call it as individual, and group of same species we call it as population, and groups of different population, that we call it as community. Community of plants that are there, and what is the importance of that? We have some economical benefit from that. Either we can consume it as food, we can use it as fodder, we can use it for medicinal purpose, we can use it for what do you say, producing drugs, so many things. We can use it for whatever the purpose it is, but economic benefit is one which is common thing with respect to crops. And which are the different ways in which we can classify the crops? First way in which we can classify, and based on different criteria, we can classify it into different types on the basis of range of cultivation. We can classify crops as garden crops. Howda? Garden crops. Kelidira? Yen garden crops andre? As simple as that. Growing crops in the garden, growing crops, growing some plants in the terrace. ನೀವು ಟೆರೆಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅದೊಂದು ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಟೆರೆಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಳಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಫೋಟೋ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೋ, ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಈಗ. ಸೊ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಗ್ರೋ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ದೇ ಗ್ರೋ? Rice and wheat, rose, vegetables, basically brinjal, ಕೊತ್ತಂಬರಿ ಸೊಪ್ಪು ತರಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರ, ಮೇಲ್ ಬೆಳಿತಾರ. Okay, so garden crops in other, what did you say? Someone said that tomatoes. Yes, tomatoes are also grown here. Then so garden crop andre eno, you can just note down crops grown on small scale in gardens. Small scale alli gardens alli ಬೆಳೆದ್ರೆ, that would be garden crop. And then there is plantation crop. Yes, I guess you people have heard of this plantation crop. Yenangandre plantation crop andre something which is grown in large estates, and estates they are like 100 acres, 200 acres, 500 acres. And which are the two major plantation crops anta bandre? Coffee, tea, ಮತ್ತೆ rubber, cocoa. These are all plantation crops. And then you have field crops. What are these field crops? Grown in large fields. Example, rice, wheat, millets, that's correct. Oil seeds, pulses, sugar cane. They are all what? They are field crops. So this classification was based on range of cultivation. Next we will see economic classification. Economic ಅಥವಾ usage ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋಬಿಡಿ. On the basis of economy or usage, which are the ways in which we can classify crops? First of all, we can call them as cereal crops. Staple food ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Main food. Every day what you will consume? Rice, ragi, wheat, jawar. These are the things that you consume every day alva. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮೇಜರ್ ಫುಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, something which will fill your stomach at the end. That is basically staple. ಯಾವುದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ? ರೈಸ್. ರೈಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಪಲ್ ಫುಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Even though you might eat ragi mudde or you might eat jolad rotti, you might eat chapati, what will fill your stomach at the end? Rice alwa. That is the staple food. North India ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಕೊಡಿ, ultimately they need chapatis. Only chapati will fill their stomach. ಅದು staple food of North India ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. That is cereal. Example, I guess ಬರ್ಕೋತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಮತ್ತೇನಿದೆ ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಬರ್ಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Then you have millets. Millets ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? They are basically small grained cereal. Small grained cereals are millets. Small grains. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದಿರಾ ರಾಗಿ ಕಾಳು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಣ್ಣಕ್ಕಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಅಕ್ಕಿ ರಾಗಿ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? Yes, the thing is, it is very small. That is millet. And millet, what is the benefit? Slow digestion, and it does not release all its content at once into the bloodstream. Slow release ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಒಂಥರ. Slow release ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ it is good for diabetes, and it is also good for these bodybuilders who are there because they require slow release of energy. ಅದು ಅಂತವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು millets are beneficial. Now people are switching over completely to millets. Alva? Previously, it was like the ones who used to eat millets were poor people. And poor people used to eat millets. Now it is completely changed that. Rich people are the ones who are eating millets, and poor people, anyways, they'll work hard, no? They'll go with this staple food itself. Appropriate idu. Enu millets antandre low glycemic index. Glycemic index antandre the food getting released into the bloodstream. The sugar levels of that particular person would be, what do you say, consistent. And that is about cereals and millets. Next, you can see the third type of crops could be oil seeds. Oil seeds ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ? Example ಕೊಡಿ. Sunflower, groundnut, mustard. They are rich in what? They are rich in fatty acids. They are rich in fatty acids. As a result, you extract oil from them. Probably you use that oil for other purposes, like cooking and other purposes. And they are used to extract vegetable oils. That is oil seeds for you. Then you have pulses. Pulses gotta? Yes, pulses are leguminous crops rich in protein. And what is protein? Protein is basically bodybuilder. Athwa, it is basically the what do you say? The nutrient which is rich in protein and fills your muscles. That is the importance of pulses. Example kodi pulses. So many examples it can give. Green gram, Bengal gram, pigeon pea, cow pea. But like adu cow pea, it is for cows. Channa, Rajma. Channa andrene adu Bengal gram alwa. Channa andre. Soya is that pulse? Is it legume? Are you sure? But is that oil? It is both. Okay. Next we'll see fifth type of crop anta bandra feed or forage. Feed or forage andre eno? What is feed or forage? It is basically to feed these animals. So yeah, it is used as what? Fodder. Example kodi? That's correct. Cowpea. Matte? Yada? Cotton. Corn. Maize adu. Horse gram. If you are a farmer, you would know that jowar, which is there, jola. In South India, South Karnataka, jowar is used as a fodder crop. And in North Karnataka, ragi is used as a fodder crop. ಅದೊಂಥರ ಯಾರು ಅದು ದನಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು ತಿನ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ. ದನಗಳೇ ತಿಂತಾವ್ ನಾವಿನೇನ್ ತಿನ್ನೋಣ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೌತ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸ್ಟೇಪಲ್ ಫುಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟೇಪಲ್ ಫುಡ್ ರೈಸೇ ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್. Prominent ಯಾವ್ದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ರಾಗಿ. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಜೋವಾರ್, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಗ್ರೋ ಜೋವಾರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಲ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಗ್ರೋ ರಾಗಿ ಫಾರ್ ದೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಲ್. And in Mediterranean region, there is this plant called as berseem. In the Middle East region, there is this plant called as berseem, which is used as a fodder. Jowar, berseem, cowpea, they're all used as fodder. And next you have fiber crop. What is fiber crop? They are rich in fiber. Example kodi? Atara fiber alla. The fiber that is used for making this jute, cotton, etc. Not that fiber which is food which is rich in fiber. Adalla keliddu. That is yavdo fiber crop. And next you have narcotics crop. Yavdo? Weed is an unwanted plant. No, that is not something which I am talking about. Tobacco. ಅಷ್ಟು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೋ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರಿ. Coffee is a narcotic plant. I guess you people know that. It is a stimulant. It is almost equal to cigarette. Gotta coffee. Sometimes it is more than cigarette. Cigarette at least 5 minutes irutte. Idu? Actually, have you observed this? If you drink coffee, you can't get sleep properly. Nidde baralla. Insomnia bandubidutte. And I kind of regret. I'll avoid coffee. Morning coffee kudidre ashte coffee kudidange. Bere time coffee kudidre ratri nidde baralla. That is one of the biggest problems. And also you have this opium. Nodi, when you said marijuana, I rejected, and directly I'm going to opium. Opium is way more stronger than marijuana or anything. I guess you people know that. And once if you do it, no coming back. Once if you get addicted to it, matte no return point in your life. Alge out of biಡ್ತೀರಾ. Relapse ಅಲ್ಲ, relapse ಅಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ opium, first of all, why they grow this opium? Yes, for ಮೆಡಿಸಿನಲ್ ಪರ್ಪಸಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತು ಹೆಂಗಿದ್ರು ಅದು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಇವ್ನು ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕಳ್ಸೋದು ಅದನ್ನ, OPM ನ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸಚ್ ಪರ್ಪಸಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಪೈಸಸ್. ಸ್ಪೈಸಸ್ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ವೈ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೈಸಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್? ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಪೈಸಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಸಾಲ, ಅದೇ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವೇಷನ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನಲ್ ಪರ್ಪಸಸ್, ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಫ್ಲೇವರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕಲರ್. ಸ್ಯಾಫ್ರನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ವಾ, ಕೇಸರಿ ಬಾತ್. ಕಣ ಕಣದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೇಸರಿ ಅಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಕೇಸರಿ ಬಾತ್. ಕೇಸರಿ ಬಾತ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಅದೇ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ, ರವೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದೇನೋ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಕ್ಕರೆನ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ? ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? ವೈ ಡು ಯು ಥಿಂಕ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಆಡ್ ದಟ್ ಕಲರ್? ಅದೇ ಕಲರ್ ಬರ್ಲಿ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಸೊ ಕಲರ್, ಫ್ಲೇವರ್. ಫ್ಲೇವರ್ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಟ್ರೈ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಸ್ಪೈಸಸ್, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ವಾಟ್? ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ವೈಟ್ ರೈಸ್ ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ವೆಜ್ ಪಲಾವ್ಗೂ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಇದು ಫ್ಲೇವರ್ ಇದು ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ, ಅದು ಸ್ಪೈಸಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಚಿತ್ರಾನ್ನ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ರೈಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಪೆಪ್ಪರ್, ಕಾರ್ಡಮಮ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಟರ್ಮರಿಕ್, ಜಿಂಜರ್, ಇಲಾಚಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಯಾಫ್ರನ್. ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಕಣ ಕಣದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೇಸರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯು ಆರ್ ವರಿಡ್ ಸೋ ಮಚ್. Okay, so this was the classification on which basis? On economic use. Next we'll see the classification on the basis of seasons, seasonal classification. ಹೇಳಿ, seasonal classification ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ರೆ which are the 3 types of crops? ಖಾರಿಫ್, ರಾಬಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಝೈದ್. What are ಖಾರಿಫ್ crops? ಯಾವ ಮಂತ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರಲಿ? Yes, it is from June, July to September, October. That is Kharif crop. June, July to September, October. Can you give me example for Kharif crops? Okay. Pulses ಯಾವಾಗ ಬೆಳಿತಾರೆ? ರಾಬಿ. ಮಿಲೆಟ್ಸ್, ಮೇಯ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ ಖರೀಫ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಅಂತ? ರಾಬಿ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಮಂತ್ಸ್ ಡು ಯು ಥಿಂಕ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಗ್ರೋ? ವಿಂಟರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಮಂತ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್ ನವೆಂಬರ್ ಟು ಜಾನ್ವರಿ ಫೆಬ್ರವರಿ. October, November to January, February. And this classification is like general classification. ಮತ್ತೆ ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡಿಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡಿಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಟ್ರೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾನ್ಸೂನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬೆಳಿತಾರೆ? when they will grow? That's correct. So it depends upon the availability of water also in certain cases. ಮತ್ತೆ ಝೈದ್, ರಬಿ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯಾವುದು ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ? wheat, pulses also. Then how about zaid crops? They are summer crops. And what is that time? They are generally sown from February, March to May, June. February, March to May, June. Example kodi? Watermelon, cucumber, basically vegetables and fruits. Sunflower is also a zaid crop. Sunflower. So this classification was based on what? Seasons. And next we will see classification as per life cycle. So first type of classification that we can make is an annual crop. Annual crop andre ಏನು? And by the way, annual crop ಮತ್ತೆ biennial crop, then ಇನ್ನೊಂದು perennial crop. What are these crops, and can you just tell me what is annual crop? Which grows in once in a year. It will no, it varsha purti anta ankobedi. It is the crop which actually grows within 1 year. It might take 3 months, 2 months, up to 1 year. From seed to seed cycle anta kariteve. Seed to seed andre sowing seed, getting seed from it. That's correct. Seed andre when that is a seed. Innondu, okay, by the way, enidu we are measuring what here? Seed to seed cycle anta. So when that is a seed, when it is sown, and when that produces seed, our time frame in gap baruttalva, that is the life cycle of that particular plant. And if it is within 1 year, less than 1 year idra annual, less than 2 years idra biennial, more than 2 years idra perennial. Can you give example for annual crops? Sugarcane. No, sugarcane is not an example for that. Rice, wheat, maize, ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ? ಆನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಗೆ. Can you give example for rabi crop? Sorry, biennial crop? Carrot. The most classic example ಯಾವ್ದು ಗೊತ್ತಾ? Biennial crop ಗೆ, that is carrot. And sugar beet ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ? Have you eaten that? No. Sugar beet ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೊಂಥರ ಈ ಬೀಟ್ರೂಟ್ ತರ ಒಂದಿರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಬೀಟ್ರೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ. In these supermarkets you can see. ಸುವರ್ಣಗೆಡ್ಡೆ, ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗೋಯ್ತು, ಅಷ್ಟು ದಪ್ಪ ಇರಲ್ಲ. Something which is a kind of ಅದು ಹೇಳಕ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡಿ. Like tomorrow if possible I'll show that. Next perennial crop ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ 3 or more years ಅಲ್ವಾ? Example ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದಾ? Can you give some example? Is it mango? Arecanut. Coconut. Actually, for many of your, I mean, I don't know if you people would get surprised by this or not. Tomato is a perennial crop. Tomato is a perennial crop. It grows in 3 months, but it can extend beyond that also. Tomato perennial crop anta bandaga, please write it. Then sweet potato, have you heard of it? Genusu. Then also ginger. They are all example for perennial crops. Ginger takes 1 year. It can extend beyond that also, no? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು like ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಅದು, but again it can extend beyond that also. But what these people have done is they have modified these crops to suit their time limit. They have modified these crops. Carrot is perfectly grown as a annual crop, even though it is a biennial crop. Seed production andre 2 years ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ. So it is about seed production. Anyways, next we will see cropping system. Now, what is cropping system? Cropping system is actually the sequence of crops that are grown on a given piece of land. Andre eno? Please write it. First you barkoli ade aamele helbodu. It is a kind and sequence of crops grown on a given piece of land. Andre eno? What kind of crops are grown and what is the sequence in which the crops are grown? That is called as cropping system. Is that clear? It is what kind of crops that are grown and what is the sequence in which they are grown. What kind of crop andre you have different kind of crop. We have seen so many different kinds, alva. Whether wheat is grown, whether rice is grown, whether sugarcane is grown, pulses are grown. What kind of crop that is grown and in which sequence it is grown. See, for example, in summer, in Kharif season, which crop you might sow? You might grow rice or you might grow maize, alva. And in Rabi, what you will do? Switch over to wheat. Matte zaidal en martira? Switch over to some vegetable. So there are different sequence of crops that are grown here. Andre first Kharif, next Rabi, matte zaid anta anbuttu you can grow, alva. And what kind of crop you are growing, that those two things indicate the cropping system. Is that clear? Cropping pattern. They are related terms. Cropping pattern andre ಏನು? Cropping pattern ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ within one field itself, for example, mixed cropping ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ we are just talking about cropping pattern here. So within one field itself, in one line, you are growing areca nut. Howda? And along the edges, you are growing yavdo? Coconut trees ide. So within a piece of land, within one area itself, which are the different crops that are grown, that will indicate the cropping pattern. But system andre? The type of crop that is grown and the sequence that is grown, that will indicate cropping system. In cropping pattern, we are talking about one particular time. At that time, which are all the crops that are grown there anta. Illi cropping system alle we are just taking one piece of land and which are all the sequence of crops that are grown at different times. At different times anta bandra cropping system. At one point of time, whatever the crop that is grown there, cropping pattern. Is that clear? Shall we move on to the next? I mean, illi first we will see the types of cropping system nodana. Types of cropping system. Single cropping system. Single cropping andre? That's correct. One crop, just write down, it refers to growing of only one crop on a piece of land year after year. Varsha admel ade bele, no changes in the crop. Example would be rice, which is grown in these irrigated areas. Irrigated regions alli rice heng ಬೆಳಿತಾರೆ? ಬೆಳಿತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ರೂ ಅದೇ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಅದೇ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ರೂ ಅದೇನೆ. And what would be the reason why they are doing that? Single cropping ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ? Heat is high. ಯಾವುದು? Yield is high. Yield is high. ಆಮೇಲೆ demand is more. And one more reason could be climatological factors. The climate, climate ge matte water availability kottbitaga, they don't shift towards any other crop because they are comfortable growing that. Rice, adne rice beli adu ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಲ ಬೆಳೆದ್ರೂ ಸಹ it will yield returns. Just flood the fields with water, you will get rice. Alwa? That is one reason. And what are the disadvantages of this? The nutrient content in the soil. That's correct. The nutrient content in the soil over a period of time will be lost. And there will be no replacement of the nutrients. That will be one of the biggest fault. That is one thing. Second thing is accumulation of salt in that soil will happen when excessive irrigation is repeatedly being used. Those are the two disadvantages. Yaake salts accumulate agutte? Capillary action. That's also fine, but simple way explain ಮಾಡಿ. You are flooding the field with water, water evaporates and it leaves behind the salt that is there. And it happens over decades, and ultimately accumulation of salt will happen in that region. That will actually lead to desertification of soils. Alva? Single cropping ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು excessive use of irrigation water. Next we'll see multiple cropping. Single cropping ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ multiple cropping ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? It does not matter whether it is at a time or not, but growing of more than one crop on a piece of land. Growing of more than one crop on a piece of land. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? We call it as multiple cropping. And multiple cropping can broadly be divided into three types. One is double cropping. In double cropping andre generally it is done in Punjab region. Punjab, Western Uttar Pradesh region alli double cropping ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. What they will do? They will grow rice in Kharif season, and after that they will grow wheat. They will switch over to wheat in the Rabi season. Rice ಯಾವಾಗ ಬೆಳಿತಾರೆ? Kharif. That is the reason why this Delhi pollution is there, you know. Gottalva? Stubble burning. Because they don't get time. After Kharif, if they want to, effectively remove that stubble, they need time. But our time iralla avರಿಗೆ. That is why they resort to burning that stubble. Because they want to immediately switch over to what? Wheat. That is the reason for Delhi pollution. So that is double cropping. And there is this, triple cropping. Double cropping andra 2 crops in a particular year. Triple cropping andra, simply speaking, 3 crops in a particular year. For example, example kodi. Rice or maize during Kharif season, ಆಮೇಲೆ wheat ಅಥವಾ pulse during Rabi season. Next, vegetables during summer season, Zaid season. Don't you think this is better? Double and multiple cropping. Iveradu compare ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ which one is better? Multiple cropping. Why? It replenishes the nutrients of the soil. And especially these crops like these pulses, they add nitrogen to the soil. Alva? Yake? They have the symbiotic bacteria in their root, which fixes nitrogen. Yes or no? That's why. Have you heard of it? The name of the bacteria? That's correct. Kelidira rhizobium bacteria. Kelidira kelilwa. That is a symbiotic bacteria. And previous year question, UPSC question alli kelidru idna. That is UPSC il kelidru, by the way. Prelims alli. This is also third type of multiple cropping, that is relay cropping. See, a person would start running and he will reach another person. And before this person stops, ನೀನು ನಿಂತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಆಗ್ಲೇನೆ ಅವನು ಓಡಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾನೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬನು, who will receive that baton. Next, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವನು he will pass that baton to someone else. ಅದೇ, the condition here is, you have to remember this. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, before the person stops, this person who is running now stops, the second person will actually start running. ಓಡಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. Same like that, relay cropping ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, one type of crop will be grown in a region. And before that crop is harvested, second crop will be sown already. Second crop ready ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. And then before that second crop is harvested, third crop will be sown. That is called as relay cropping. Have you heard of intercropping? This is first ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ ಯಾವ್ದದು, single, multiple ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಲ್ವಾ? That was for cropping system. This is for cropping pattern. Intercropping andre growing 2 or more crops simultaneously at the same time in a piece of land. ಒಂದೇ ಸಲಿ 2-3 ಬೆಳೆ ಬೆಳೆಯೋದು in a piece of land. That is called as what? Intercropping. Mixed farming. The concept of mixed farming ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ doing many things in the same piece of land. You are growing crops, you are what do you say, raising cattle, athwa these small ruminants, you have some fish pond also over there. That is poultry ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಒಂದು 4-5 ಕೋಳಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು poultry farm ಅಲ್ಲ. So in villages this is some common thing that you can find alwa. Same farmer grows all these things, cattle irutte, fish irutte, ella irutte. That is called as mixed farm. Is that clear? Single cropping. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನು, if you grow more than 2 crops, that is called as, if you grow more than 1 crop ಅಂದ್ರೆ one type of crop, that is called as what? That's it. About crops ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪಾಸಿಬ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Just give examples, ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ದೀಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್: single cropping, multiple cropping, advantages, disadvantages. If you know that much, hardly question, if at all a question comes, it will be only on this much. Is that clear? Okay, so today just was an introduction class, and answer writing I gave you some tips. So probably from tomorrow we will take up questions and we will start practicing those questions. And what else? That's it. Shall we wind up the class for today? Okay, thank you.